Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to 12 to 1 Talk with Fernando Clark. I am your host, Fernando Clark. I want to wish everybody a tremendous Thursday today. Hope you're having a good one. I think it's the 4th day of January. Boy, January going quick. Anyhow, it's the 4th day of January. We give God praise and thanks for this wonderful day that He has made, and we shall rejoice in it and make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Praise Him loudly. This program today is brought to you to the kind courtesies of Organic Creations, located in the Orange Grove Shopping Center in Cold Bay. Open from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. When you're concerned about your health, you got to go to Organic Creations. They have a wide variety of teas, all kind of teas for all kind of purposes, and a wide variety of vitamins for children, for teenagers, for the elderly, you name it, they got it. And of course, wellnesses for all parts of the body. Okay? You got your testosterone wellness, menopause wellness, you got wellness for prostate, wellness, you name it, they got it. Make sure, visit Organic Creations and see for yourself. They have organic products such as organic toothpaste, organic deodorant, organic body lotion, organic shampoo, and much, much more. Essential oils, liquid herbs, dried fruits, yeah boy, dried fruits, and all the organic products you need. You could get your zinc, your charcoal, and you could boost up your immune system with the products that they have there. So you got to make sure check out Organic Creations. You could also call them on 523-9496 to make an appointment for your Zyto scan so that you know what's going on in your body. That's 523-9496. Give them a call because we want you to live healthy in 2024. Okay, so make sure to check out Organic Creations. The program is also brought to you to the kind courtesies of SATEX Agencies. SATEX Agencies located in Madam Estate, open from Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Check out SATEX Agencies for all the products that they have newly received. Yeah, they got, you could get your dog houses. You need a house for your dog. It's a big dog. They have big dog houses. Small dogs, they got small dog houses. And you could get your wardrobes, your chest of drawers, your utilities cabinet. You could also get your containers where you could put away and preserve documents or anything you want to preserve. You got a 40-liter container and a 120-liter container. You could get a 4-drawer. They got the cabinet with 4 drawers. They got them with 3 drawers. You could get them on wheels or you could get them flat. So make sure to check them out. And of course, you could get tables and chairs at SATEX Agencies. So you're going to make sure go and check out SATEX Agencies and check out their website to see what's on discount. SATEX St. Martin. Okay, SATEX Agencies St. Martin. And that's their website. And check it out. And you'll see all what they have on sale and all what they have there. So make sure to check out their website and pay them a visit in Madam Estate and see for yourself all what they have there. Chairs and tables, cabinets, they have the shelves to put over the toilet tank, and much, much more. Okay? You have big tools, you want to put them away, rake, shovel, and all those kind of things. Or you could use it to put away your things like your mop, your brooms, and those sort of things, and much, much more. All these things are made of solid plastic, so you don't have to worry about them rusting. Okay? So check out SATEX Agencies, telephone number 581-3437. Give them a call. SATEX Agencies continue to give you good products at good prices with good service. Well, what a program I got in store for you today. I got me an MP. He's here with me, and his name is Claudius Anthony Buncamper. We know him as Toncha or as Bunks. Bunks, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Fernando. How are you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, I think, 7 days from now, at this point then we'll be at the polls voting already.
Time,
So we got 6 more days to sell our message Some of them will sell messages to fool people, to confuse people. You know, when you can't convince them, you try to confuse them.
Yeah.
And that's the new norm I have noticed with some of the parties. But, you know, I think the Now message is very clear. The Now manifesto is very strong. It is a manifesto that not only tells you what we want to do, but how we are going to do it, but most importantly, how we are going to raise the money to do what we say we are going to do. Others, they just talk about ambitious plans and how they think they can do this or how they think they can do that. No, we know how we're going to do it. We don't think how we want to do it. We know how we are going to do it.
But,
we have done that homework already.
But Bunks, before we get into all of that, I want to ask you something, because I keep hearing some of the political parties saying, but Buncamper cannot run in the election. Oh no, he cannot be elected, he cannot sit in the seat if he is elected.
Fernando, let me set everybody at ease. People are trying to interpret the law, but they don't understand the law very often. The law is not an easy something, and we have lawyers that say certain things and then you wonder, but where did you get it from? Because when you read the explanatory notes in our law, because it is not a law in the criminal courts, this is a law in our constitution. It's an article in our constitution, an article that MP Rolando Bryson, who is the one most involved with laws in Parliament, clearly stated is wrong. It's illegal. But we ain't gonna fix that now right away, because we got a lot of other things to fix, like in the charter, etc., etc., etc. So they know it's wrong. They have nothing to speak about me other than, oh, he can't take his seat. My work speaks for itself. I have a proven track record from when I was in GB, to when I was in government, to when I spent the first 2 years in Parliament. And then I got suspended because the Constitution that is in breach with the ICCRP Treaty, that's the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights, they did not handle it. I sent a formal letter to Parliament. I said, please deal with this matter. It is wrong. This time around, I'm going to challenge it in courts if it happens. I am going to challenge it in courts. I want the judge to tell me that the treaties mean nothing, that our Constitution has a flaw in it. All 15 sitting in there know it. All of them know it. And the Prime Minister knows it too. But you see, it is the one thing they want to scare the voter with. Don't vote for Buncamper. He can't take his seat. Buncamper taking his seat. The law does not deny me taking the seat, unless our laws are so that you can be punished 2 or 3 times for the same crime. Because remember, when I was convicted in 2021, I was suspended in 2022. I sat out the term. I am still sitting out the term. But now I'm going to a new term. So if I was not allowed to sit, why am I allowed to run the elections? Because the Electoral Council approved the list. They agreed that I can be on the list, that I can be elected. Because they too know that that flaw in the Constitution shouldn't be there. We are the onlyest country in the kingdom with such a ludicrous law that an elected person is sidelined while he is fighting in accordance to the law his case. I haven't spent a day in jail, Fernando, in this whole ordeal that started in December 2018. We are going to make 6 years this year that I'm fighting this case. The previous case I fought for 12 years, and I was fully acquitted. And the country had to pay me back. But that they don't talk about. That there are flaws in the system, yes. But this flaw, we made it. And then you hear some of them talk about the 16th seat. The 16th seat was created by this government. Check the Prime Minister of 10-10-10. That's when it was created. That's when it was brought into life. So you see, Fernando, Claudius Anthony Buncamper is going to win his seat and is going to take his seat. And if they come at me, I will go to courts and I will defend it. I have spoken to at least 8 lawyers that believe, not only in St. Martin, but also in Curacao and one in Holland, that they cannot suspend me again. So they can run their mouth all they want. They can run it all they want because it's a fear-mongering. Like how they like to blame Chris. Oh, he's fear-mongering. That's what they're doing with me. They can't beat bunks at the game. I am a professional at what I do. I don't go out and cry foul. Last night I listened at a closing statement of the Prime Minister and I shook my head in disbelief. And I said, but this good lady didn't look in her own backyard. One of her candidates was involved in one of the biggest drug deals in St. Martin and sat serious time in the States and in Holland. A high-ranking civil servant, well known to her, was also involved in drugs in England, according to the school children, yet holds a very high position here in government. The whole garbage collection tender that the ombudsman deemed fraudulent, very shady, was wiped under the mat by this government. And when it reached Parliament, they voted not to fire the minister. Then you have the Vineyard Heights scandal, where notaries are not even signing land anymore for anybody in St. Martin because they ain't doing it the right way. The PFP highlighted all of these things last night. And I'm saying, please, man, look in your own backyard before you come firing shots. Because if that's the fight you want, I can give it to you. I can fight at the top, but I could get into the gutter like a war hog too. I have no issue with that. All this thing about let's play nice, I try to be respectful. But when you start to lie, because you know better, she knows it ain't so. But she prefers to sell the story so. If you want to make your whole campaign about Buncamper can't take his seat, then do that, sweetheart. I know what to make my campaign about. Your incompetencies. You run out there, put up big posters. But you're the president of the collectivity. Where that supposed to be? Where it supposed to be? It gone. You know why? Because you didn't have the right to do it. You tried geopolitics. You're an amateur, sweetheart. You think because you go to the United Nations and the Dutch allow you to talk, you're something now? No, you're not. Because you don't have a seat in the United Nations. When we get our seat in the United Nations, then we make a difference. For now, we are just part of the complex called the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And I think the question that was asked about the passport last night was a very valid one. Because residency we can give.
Yeah.
Passports we can't. You know, and so if there's one thing we can hold on to as a government is a residency. So if a child is born in St. Martin, at least give him the permanent residency. Because then at least you can protect him from not being stateless. Because eventually you're going to have to do something. Because with permanent residency, you can apply for the Dutch passport.
Yeah.
So we can help that way.
Now let me touch on something that a lot of people are concerned about. This issue with GEBE. You know, when I told somebody today I have Buncamper coming in, the first thing they say is, ask him about GEBE because he was in there. You know, this GEBE situation, now I'm looking at it from not from the company, but from government standpoint. What is government doing about this?
Government failed. Government failed on so many different fronts with GB. You know, they love to use the arm's length when it's convenient.
Yeah.
Because when things went wrong, I can remember we were in Parliament. I was sitting in Parliament and one of the people I have a lot of respect for in Parliament was MP William Allen. And the MP was upset because he had asked who was going to be on the board of directors of GB. He wanted to know as an MP, but also as a former leader of the National Alliance. And he was told, wait until you see them come out because you had your time already when you were there. And I said, wow, the disrespect is serious. The minister then of Romy was deeply involved in appointing board members and running a whole sham on management. Who should be the management and how it should be. Look, I don't always see eye to eye with Kenrick Chittick, but I'll put my hand in the fire for Kenrick Chittick as a managing director. The man has integrity and the man is genuinely, for GB, the right person, in my humble opinion. Look, Troy Washington is a great guy, but they put him there temporarily. They ain't say, we're going to make him the manager. No. He's there temporary and they're going to figure out something. Then you see suddenly pictures being taken with GB Land, with Vidanova, with a housing vision. Are you serious? But when all hell broke loose in Parliament, you couldn't find certain people. Prime Minister reaching there, but she can't answer nothing. Then you hear 1 week before Christmas, oh, we're going to cut all of those that didn't pay. And then you hear them make a statement. The Prime Minister made the statement. I knew of it, but I didn't say nothing. Because the big businesses should pay. There are 50 big businesses give and take by GB. All the rest are houses, residents. So why you had to stress out people 1 week before Christmas about GB going to cut when it was meant for the big businesses? Deal with the big businesses. You want to take a loan? Then take a loan to float GB. Because GB needs the help. Don't go try to bring laws that whatever stay over from the concession money after GB pay their bills, or after government pay their bills to GB, then we're going to share that in a payment plan of 2 million. GB don't need 2 million. GB needs 50 million. GB needs 100 million maybe. I don't know. But GB needs money. GB pays $7 million a month on fuel to Sol. That on its own, when you add it up, it's 84 million US dollars leaves GB's coffers every year. And we have 200 million US dollars, not guilders, US dollars. And then we have 200 million euros available to do projects here when it comes to solar and renewable energies. And we do nothing with it. The government hasn't done. Everything is in that pipeline of theirs. But we need some drainer to unclog that pipeline. Because nothing really coming out. Everything, when you ask them, it's in the pipeline. Last night, the onlyest word the Prime Minister used consistent was pipeline. It's in the pipeline. And we do it, and it's in the pipeline. And it's in the pipeline. This is a joke. We are 7 days from election. And her election is in the pipeline too. Because she ain't coming back. You see, this is the problem, Fernando, when you want to tell people untruths. You got to keep remembering what you said the first time and then the second time. I don't have to remember what I said the first time. I know what I said the first time. Because I told you the truth from day one. People mightn't like what I say. And people might say, oh, I'm very harsh. But I prefer you know the truth and what you're up against than you hear a fairy tale from Pinocchio and you get caught after the fact. That's my problem. That's what I have with this government right now. The government on its own already is totally divided. The up is one way, the NA is another way. And they're competing against each other because they're looking for their votes. So if they have to throw somebody under the bus, they're going to throw them under the bus. They don't care. Now that, things getting harsh, now they have to look for the fights outside. So the Now Party has become a serious contender. The Now Party is seriously hurting the NA. So they are now going to come back at us. But we are okay with that. We have no issue. We have our manifesto that is based on reality. We don't have a fairy tale story that we are at the crossroads. Which crossroads? We are at no crossroads. I hear the minister talking about, all our year accounts were good. You're lying. You're lying. Let me tell it to you, you're lying. Because the General Audit Chamber said that's not true. The 2021 year account is false. It is not credible. So did the CFT. And they wrote a whole letter, 6 pages, telling them what they would advise them to do right now. How to deal with it, how to deal with the TWO, etc., etc. So, Fernando, all I'm saying, I have no problem when you make a mistake. Don't, because we all make mistakes. We're human beings. But at least accept the mistake and move on. Correct it and move on. But we lie. We continuously lie. Listen, take the tax reform that the NA is talking about. Because last night the Prime Minister said, oh, we're working on tax reform and it's in the pipeline and it's there. I'll tell you what's in the pipeline. Profit tax. Profit tax is 34.5%. So the NA says, in their opinion, they're going to fix the profit tax by moving the surcharge. But the surcharge is about 4.5%. So in reality, the profit tax remains 30%. So how are you really helping? How are you really helping the businesses? I don't think you're really helping the businesses because 30%, we are the highest. I don't want to say in the world because I don't know all of them in the world, but I know we're the highest in the region for sure. Nobody needs to come to St. Martin to do business if they have to pay 30% profit tax. Nobody coming. So again, you see, when you see hotels billing, all of those have tax holiday for the next 10, 15 years. We don't give tax holiday to young people. We talk about entrepreneurial programs. You hear the government talk, oh, we did this for entrepreneurs. What did you do? Because most of the money is still with the NRPB because people don't qualify for it. People don't qualify.
Well, I wanted to know what's going on with the NRPB for true. And the World Bank. They ever make money available for the entrepreneurial program?
$35 million was made available. But what they were doing it and how they were doing it created some problems. Fernando, look, I understand when you create a program, you set your rules that you believe are the best rules. But like we said in the Now Manifesto, if we realize while executing that something is not working, we will adjust it. We don't have any fear or any shame to say, it's not working the way we wanted it to work. Let's adjust it so that it will serve its purpose. That's what you do it for. So I had hope that, the NRPB would have redone it, and they did. They did. They changed it up. They're giving you more money. They're much more lenient on what you can use it for. Look, that you're going to have problems with people not paying back or people doing it wrong, that's a society we live in. That is a normal something, Fernando. But what we need to understand that when you look at billboards with all sorts of accomplishments that were actually done by the NRPB, you wonder who running. Is it the NRPB running or is it a political party running? Because if Claret Connor's name was on a ballot today with the NRPB work he'd have got elected hands down as the biggest vote getter because they did the most work. The NA and the UP did not. Mr. Bryson, I'll give him credit, he worked on his laws. But nothing else. Nothing else went down other than we want to promise you this and we want to promise you that and we're going to do this and we're raising it by 10 guilders or 100 guilders. That's not helping the country. That is giving people what we call false hope. It's a narrative that is not going to pan out. We all know what the livable wage is in this country. 3,552 guilders according to the St. census, not the Now census. The anti-poverty platform, if you like it or not, showed a lot of discrepancies within our laws, within the kingdom, the charter, within international treaties that are happening in this country. Nobody seemed to want to stand up and say they are right and they should be dealt with accordingly. Look, if you can't afford it, then don't do it. But if you have a right to it, because we speak of equality, and last night I enjoyed listening to them up there on stage talk about equality within the kingdom, because there is none. There is none. Yet we said that this is the basis that we work with each other in partnership. And that's when it becomes interesting, because it would show you that we are busy with something that we are not ready for. We are not ready for what we signed up to. And we can blame those in 10-10-10. But remember, 10-10-10 was the child of the 2000 election referendum in St. Martin.
Yeah.
So we can blame Sarah, William, and anybody else who signed off on it. But remember, it was the population that made that choice. The problem I believe we have is that they didn't prepare accordingly for 10-10-10. We were not ready for 10-10-10. And as a consequence, we now have a problem with how we're going to deal with this matter. But like I said, it is impossible. It is truly impossible to tell the country that we can't fix. Yes, we can. We should have been fixed a long time ago. But, there are so many different places that things go wrong. Because when you look, for example, at the airport, I think the airport is a very good way to show how this country is governed. When they went down there and started investigations, it was, I have to recuse myself, it's hands off, it's this, they sent home the holding board, they put a new board, that board eventually also resigned already, they put a new one again, they moved people off of the board that was running PGIAE. Some of them also got caught up in Ansari scandal by now. Look, there is, after 5 years, still no local CFO counterpart. I think we had 5 or 6 CFOs from Schiphol or Schiphol appointed or whatever. But there's still not one local CFO counterpart. Commercial, it is signed in the contract. But Duffy and Dummy, don't look at that. Hands off. No, it's not hands off. You have nothing to say. Because you fired Dexter Duncher when Knops told you to do so. You didn't fire Dexter. Knops told you either you do that or are you going to deal with the matters at the airport? I going to put measures. And because you all are so afraid of measures, because you have no backbone, you gave in and you fired Dexter, Glenn Daniel and Rosalind Hodge. I mean, this is a joke, but this is what it is. They fired, 15, 20 people already at the airport? They sidelined a bunch of them. Yeah. I mean, even the commercial director. When they brought in the hotelier, I think he lasted 2 months. Mm-hmm. And he left there kicking and screaming because he wasn't getting involved in this nonsense. He wasn't getting involved in it. Strange things went down. He wanted out. He didn't want to get implicated in these things. So now they bring a failure out of TLM. Because that's where the partner from. He was in TLM by Kendall. Mm-hmm. He wasn't doing too good. First we had the girl reach. From a girl from TLM moved, that was the Barbie doll, was appointed over there. Now they move he over. I see another one from TLM went over to another local boy that was in TLM who was handling a lot of the heavy work, is gone too. Look, my thing is this. I don't want to accept that we don't have competent commercial directors in Samantha. When you want to talk, if you want to make it about aviation, then aviation should be the departure point. Because the partner sitting there don't have that. Susie Cartocromo has been there for 20 plus years. If anybody knows a little bit about it, I would say she. She is always the assistant. When somebody falls out, they make it to her. But they will not give it to her. Mm-hmm. Because she is not one of those rubber stamps that he can use. She has a backbone. She will say no when she has to say no. And that's unfortunate. Look, my thing is this. There are people at the airport that need to go. They really need to go. I don't know how else to put it. And I hope when the new government sits, that they deal with the airport accordingly. Clean up what needs to be cleaned up. The people at the airport want well for the airport. But the way we are managing that airport, we are going to destroy it. You see the commuter system they were having with St. Bart's? You saw that letter that hit the front page of St. Bart's? No. That letter has to do with the VIP service at the airport. There were 2 companies that were doing it now for the past 20 years. There have been more companies, some of them sold out. But there are 2 that remain, 2 local companies remained that do this fast track. I think it is Juliana Handlers that do the St. Bart's community thing a lot. And I think the other one was Harley Aviation that do the helicopters and all those things and the private jets. They got a letter in September telling them, come November 1st, it's over. Mind you, we're going into high season, you know. Mm-hmm. These people have reservations 6 months to a year in advance. These people have confirmed it because they didn't know. So they started discussions. They told them, no, keep doing it. We're going to work out something. Then they pulled the plug. So some of them went to courts. They won in courts. Mingo got his backside caught in courts. The judge roughed him up. He has to pay them $3,000 a day until he solves it. But the damage done to the reputation of this country is in the millions. Because the people that are asking for this service are not backpackers. These are private businessmen that come here on private planes, etc., etc. They land here with a jet, and then they need to get the commuters, the Simbad's commuter, whichever one going to Simbad's. And they use the VIP service because they got to get in and out. These are people that are paying thousands of dollars for charters, not $200 for a seat. Thousands of dollars for charters. And we, with a swipe of a pen, are trying to destroy this. And I'm saying, this is crazy. This is ludicrousy. You cannot do these things. If you know that this VIP business is a big business, then create a separate location for them to come in. Talk to the government. Put 2 immigration officers that are going to deal with a tent for the VIPs where they can move through and have their luggage tagged. At least you can get them in and out as fast as possible, and you remain the hub. Because these same planes can land in Antigua or in St. Kitts, and Simbad's commuter go fly from Simbad's to St. Kitts. They'll get that right. They'll ask for that right. But Winair mightn't be able to do that. And then Winair loses out on the business. Our national carrier, the one you say you care so much about. You see, this is the problem that I believe we have to look at when you see these type of things drop on your plate. This is not just, it's Brian Mingo. No. It is the airport, the damage that's being done to the country. Look, I landed a few days ago, the 23rd of December. I landed here at 5:30 in the afternoon from Seba. And we had to wait on the ramp for about 15, 20 minutes for a bus to reach, because I can't walk to the hall. They say you got to wait for the bus. And when the bus came, the people were standing outside, really by the ramp already, because it was completely filled. And there were a few big airlines that still had people out there. And I'm saying to myself, wouldn't a second hall have been much better for the high season and put 2 more belts? Rent the belts, even if it's little. Let me do this. You can recall the airport bought a merry-go-round. Man, put a merry-go-round, take off the horses and put on the suitcases. Let people at least be able to get their suitcases. Because what's happening now in there is ludicrousy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And the damage that we are doing, and yes, they say, yeah, when you go to Miami, no. When I go to Miami, I stand in line by immigration. I don't stand in line for hour wait on luggage or hour and a half wait on luggage. The luggage is there. The belts are there. Yes, when I land in Miami, I'm a visitor. But when I land in Samantha, I'm a resident. Because in Miami, all the Americans go through the American residency, and they move through 10 times faster than I move through as a visitor. So again, when we want to make comparison, compare apples with apples and pears with pears. I'm not saying that they're not trying, but I think we made a big mistake when we conceded to the contractor that they don't have to work at night because it's more expensive. No, we needed to get the airport ready so that we can treat our guests in the right manner. This airport is damaged now for nearly 6 years, Fernando. Six plus years. 6 years plus. September 2023, 17 to September 2023 was 6 years. We are now 6 years and 4 months further. And we still don't have a final date. We talk about all kind of dates, but we are not there. And as long as we are not there, we are in a problem. We're going to go through the whole high season now, and most probably the off season, in a mediocre arrival system. And I think we could have planned better.
I think government should have get down on the management and say, listen, make this a priority. Make this happen. But I also want to talk to you about cost of living and what we could do about getting our own, or at least producing some of what we eat.
Look, your cost of living, Fernando, a lot of people need to understand what it's based on. What is cost of living based on? It's based on a few things. It's based on housing, food, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and in principle, let's take those big 5 ones, and transportation. Which ones can we affect? Where can we make a difference? We can make a difference in food if we decide that we want to work towards food sustainability, that we want to deal with agriculture the right way, that we want to deal with fisheries the right way, that we want to deal with animal husbandry the right way. And why do I say the right way? Because what we are doing now is a joke. We are not dealing with agriculture. We are talking about it. But we are talking like what the Indians normally say. We're talking with split tongue. Because when it sounds good, we run in this direction. And when things get rough, we go in the other direction. And I'm saying that makes no sense. That's why the Now Party is advocating for a Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Animal Husbandry. Because if you take those three and put them together, you are going to make a start on food sustainability. You can't grow everything. But you can grow a lot. You can have a chicken farm that can suit the Dutch and French side in a cooperation agreement, where one area we got 10,000 chickens and everybody can get eggs on this island on a daily basis, and maybe even in the hotel sector we can sell eggs. We don't need to import it anymore. You saw the war that had on eggs, when eggs had cost 15 guilders a dozen and all kind of craziness, when they were normally 3-4 guilders. These are the type of things that we can work with. We have to work. We have the Sabre Bank. We can get a fishing fleet and fish for ourselves. We can do shrimp farming, tilapia farming, lobster farming, whatever it is. We have lagoons. We have coastal lines where we have fresh water. We can do things. Agriculture, we're going to have to think out of the box because of land. But we can do a lot of farming. Look at the French side with the lettuce. For example, they take out thousands of crops of lettuce. So we can do it. But I'm going to remain on where I started with agriculture. I'm going to go back to the legalization of weed. I heard last night the leader of the UP tried to take credit, but they're doing this and they're doing that. Listen, you don't need to do nothing. It's all there already. We don't need to ask for a request for proposal from Canadians. We have people in St. Martin that know exactly how to do it. There is this one group where you have Ras Bushwan and I think the guy from IRE, real estate, Jagdani. You have, what the professor their name now? I can't pick up on it. Jay Harrison. All of these people wrote a document of how it should be done and how it can be done. And we just push that aside. We do as if these people have no clue what they're talking about. And they had a gentleman that used the basics of Jamaica and how it's being done in Jamaica. The big issue, normally, would have been the financing, the banking of the money. Because a lot of people said the money can be banked in a local bank, and all banks in St. Martin say, I ain't taking no drug money. It is not drug money because now it's legal. You take alcohol money. You take cigarette money. But you don't want to take legalized cannabis money? Then get out of the country. That's why St. Martin needs its own bank. That's why we need our own bank that can take care of our economy and not have foreign banks decide how your economy must look. Because that's what's happening now. They're deciding what can and what cannot. And that's unfortunate because the central bank doesn't stand its ground and help us with regulations. The central bank did a whole study for Curacao to see what's what. But for St. Martin, they just blow over it and throw out something. But there was no in-depth study done in St. Martin. And that's when you hear us saying, let us dollarize and secede from the central bank. People say, oh, that's a long track. Why? We just need a proper monetary regulation body. We have people like Dr. Anders Eugene Holiday, who came from the central bank to Winea, to the airport, to governor. Well, let him monitor it now. Let him set it up now. What is wrong with our own people doing it? And let him work with the Dutch. I don't have a problem with the Dutch, I just get on with the Dutch judicial system sometimes because according to me, they have an agenda. But that's my personal thought. But I don't have nothing against the Dutch. The Dutch government that is going to be formed is going to be a lesson for St. Martin to look at carefully. Because Geert Wilders said it before and he will say it again. Holland is for the Dutch. Not for the Dutch Caribbean. The high courts in the Netherlands. Will Johnson took a case from Sabre to courts to the Supreme Court so that Sabre can get the same pensions and the same benefits as the Netherlands. And the Supreme Court said, but the Caribbean islands are not mainland Holland and Europe. So they don't deserve the same. Look, these are decisions. We got to wake up in this country and smell the aroma. Because we pretend, like I said, we are like Indians here sometimes, speaking with split tongue in the cowboy and Indian movie. Because we're not telling the people the truth. And I keep telling you, as long as you don't tell the people the truth, the people are not informed correctly, Fernando. And this is my problem. We need to get them back to sustainability. We need that Ministry of Agriculture. We need these things. But we need more. We need more. We need to do renewable energy. We need to get a solar farm, be it on the roofs of people. And that current goes back into the net of GB, and GB just burns less fuel and runs less engines. I didn't say fire people, you know. I just said run less engines. Because those people can now be retrained to deal with the solar energy and deal with the solar panels and deal with the connections onto the net. You don't need to fire the people, you need to retrain them. That's why I have my doubts with the whole dismissal with TLM. Why can't these people be retrained so that they fit into the digitalization world that TLM wants to go into? Yes, IA, artificial intelligence, is going to replace people with machines. But you know what? People still fix the machines.
Yeah,
We still fix them. So we need to find a way to make people feel useful. You can't reach 55 or 60 and be put on pension. What am I going to do at 55 when I'm an energetic man? What, go look for a job someplace else? What am I going to find? I can't even drive taxi no more because we gave away all those licenses because it was an election ploy. You know, so again, you see, we need to understand that you can't just give people money, hope they manage it well, and they're going to live a happy life. Because 9 of the 10 times that doesn't happen. Idle hands mostly put you in trouble. Yeah. So, you know, your mind is going to run wild. You're going to start making investments to make some more money. And before you know it, because you are not good in money management, you lose your money. You get scammed or something, business gone wrong, and crap a smoky pipe. You find yourself in a very awkward position. So I am saying the whole rehabilitation of how you're going to bring these people into society needs to be looked at carefully. This is not just give them a payout and tell them thank you for your years of service. We got to work this totally different. We have never prepared our people for the future. We have never.
That's true.
And we are going to be confronted with a lot of changes in the next 5 to 10 years that people have to get prepared for. Things are going to change. If we like it or not, the world is changing. Samantha's going to have to change along. And I know most of us fear change, but we're going to have to embrace change, but ensure that the change that we want to embrace is the change we need, and not the change we are going to be given. There's a big difference there.
Education. What do you think about education? What's the now plan for education, and what, based on what we have now, what is going on now in education?
Look, I think there are a few things when you look at education that you can say it ain't working. And last night in the debate, they started talking about 2 languages or 3 languages. Look, most of the people in Samantha speak English. Some of us of the older generation still speak Dutch because we were taught in Dutch in school. But we changed the language of instruction to English over the years because that was our mother tongue and Dutch was not our mother tongue. It immediately also created that a lot of people couldn't become lawyers really anymore because they don't speak the language. So we don't have lawyers, we don't have prosecutors that belong to the young generation that only speaks English because you got to learn the law in Dutch.
Yeah.
You understand? So in that sense, Fernando, I think we are failing the judicial branch in the trias politicas. Police officers also have to be able to speak proper Dutch, if you like it or not. Because if you have to go and train in Curaçao in the Netherlands, they're not training you in English, they're going to train you in Dutch.
Yeah.
And yes, we miss that connection. But there's more to it. Because, Fernando, we send away a lot of kids to study. But we put their parents under serious hardships because the scholarships, you go to the States, they give you 15,000, I think it is. But you need a minimum of 18,000. So you put in the parents already in a hole before they start. We have NEPA, we have the university, but we limit our scholarships to those institutions. And I'm saying, why? You're giving scholarships to other institutions in the region, but to your own, you're not doing. And I'm saying we got to review this methodology that we have. This thinking has to change. We got to take care of our own. I think we need a lot more teachers in St. Martin that know St. Martin. We speak of culture and heritage and we can put it in the curriculum, but if they don't know it, they can't teach it. And I'm saying these are some of the things that I really think need to be adjusted. Look, Fernando, there are a lot of competent people in the education world. I don't think the education world is lacking competency. I think the education world is lacking leadership. Our minister for education failed completely. He completely failed when it came to special education. He completely failed when it came to certain classroom repairs. You can't wait for NRPB to do everything. That the teachers and the students at Oranje School have to sit down on Front Street and get media attention and everybody coming there to film for you to run in, go put air conditions and remove the mold out of the class and fix the roof is a bloody shame. It's a shame, Fernando, because that's a public school. That's not a private school. That's a public school. When you drive down the road now, MPC still fixing.
Yeah.
What other one their name? Academy still fixing. Up to now.
The one in Middle Region.
No, they ain't even built. They haven't built Marie Laurent School. Nothing. They ain't got a school there. Those children going up by St. Dominic or down in Belvedere. It's a shame. Charles Leopold Bell was a school that we were going to reuse. Nothing. Martin Luther King, still major problems with the roof. And I'm saying it's not needed. This is not needed. Let me give him 6. If after 6 years, you still can't fix the schools in your country and we don't have a library other than a little chicken coop above Adolphus Richardson, you got to be ashamed of yourself. You got to be ashamed of it. And the Prime Minister boldly boasts that she was a school manager. But you can't have school at heart because you ain't managing the government neither. Because you cannot allow a Minister of Education to do this when you were the Minister of Education in 2017 and you know the problems. You went through the hurricane as Minister of Education. You see, some of them forget I was there. I was the one fixing schools, putting tarpaulins, trying to save what we could save. I just listen to them and I wonder sometimes if they're serious. Because those days, most of the jobs that the minister had was getting food when it come in, put it in boxes and give it to teachers. That was their job. They wasn't managing nothing else. They were trying to make sure people could eat and drink. Because that's what it was. There was no school because the schools were damaged, seriously damaged. So again, my problem is we are 6 years further. And out of those 6 years, how much belongs to this present government? 4 for sure. Yep. 4 for sure. And before that, they had 3 or 4 months when the Leona government was sent home and the USP had joined forces with them. So more than half of the time, and let's put it so, more than half of the better time of hurricane to now was by them. And you know what we're going to do? Oh, the pandemic killed us. No, the pandemic didn't kill you. The pandemic stopped. Listen carefully. The pandemic stopped the turning of the economy and the tourism world. But we had a trust fund. We had money and we had lumber by Koyman and by Ace and all them. They could have fixed the schools. Because those monies were given to us. They were there. You see, Fernando, they speak in split tongue. And they don't tell the truth. The Dutch government has a seat on the board of the World Bank. They have a seat. Not just a two-vote. They have a seat because they're one of the biggest donors. We had somebody on the steering committee. And we could have ensured that it goes faster. I'm not saying change all kind of things, but it could have gone faster. We could have rushed $14 million to pay out people to move from the landfill, but where are they? Money gone all over the place. People are still here. Nobody leaves the matter, All they do is get money for 2 years to pay rent. And when that 2 years over, they come in to look for a handout someplace. Or they're going to go back and squat again. And then what? Because this is the problem. The project on the landfill ain't going no place. That going to be for the next government. That going to be for the now government to clean up with whomever other coalitions we got. Because that ain't going no place. We need to do better. But if we go into the field of alternative energy, renewable energy, and take and put GB in charge of this, we stand a chance to save a lot of money and invest it elsewhere. But you don't take loans to build roads because you have no return on investment. So another 60 million guilders in loans to go build 40 side roads means basically that my grandchildren and your grandchildren will be paying a loan 20 years from now.
Yep.
For roads we build it now because it's 1 week before election. This is crazy.
Well, MP, we have about 5 minutes left. Let me ask you about this quickly. This own your own home.
Yeah. Now, the own your own home is not something I'm going to take credit for that we started. Many, many moons ago, the homes in South Reward were sold for 1 guilder to the people that were living there by the dead, I think, Commissioner William Allen. That's when I tell you certain people I have respect for. That's one of the things I have a lot of respect for him for. Because he stood up for his people. He gave votes there too, but he stood up for his people. But let's look at all the emergency homes in 911, in Sucker Garden, in Coal Bay, in South Reward. These things were built by contractors in St. Martin when they brought it from Venezuela because they were prefabbed. Those things cost about $10,000 to $15,000 a home. We bought them in 1995 after Lewis. So, in other words, the people that are living in there for the past 28 years have paid the value of that home twice already. So give them the house. You don't even need to give it to them for a guilder. Give it to them. And the Housing Foundation should get money to continue building, managing, and then use the formula of rent to own. Not rent to stay, rent to own.
Yeah.
People in Belvedere that have been there for 20 years, from 1998, they're going to make 20 years just now. Why? They're going to make 25 years just now. Why are those people not being offered the homes? And not at market value, but at market value minus all the rent paid. You understand? These are the things that we believe as a program the NOW is going to embark on. Because I believe it is impossible that people can't own a home. If I am a renter, I can't go to the bank and say I have a home as collateral, so I would like to take a loan to do A, B, C, D. I can't because I don't own it. So we want to give them that collateral. What's wrong with a Samaritaner owning his own home? That's the question you got to answer me.
Yeah.
And if you can't answer that question, then don't talk about it. Don't talk about a housing vision because you don't have it. You have an enrichment vision, but not a housing vision. But Fernando, I know my time is running, and I want to invite everybody. Come out tonight, 7 o'clock, Sucker Garden, there by the Richardson property, by the entrance of the Keys. The NOW party going to be there. We're going to tell you what we have in store for St. Martin. We're going to talk about what we can do and how we're going to do it and how we're going to pay for it. Because that's what we're about. Country above self. I want to invite everybody, even those that waving our flags, but looking for a new home, you're more than welcome. We're a party of inclusion, not exclusion. You come in, and we're going to find a place for you at the table. We want St. Martin to hear the real story, the truth, not those stories that are made up because they fear what's on the other side. Fernando, we're a team that has St. Martin at heart. We're a team that wants to make St. Martin the gem of the Caribbean again. And we got to do that with the one commodity we have, our people. That's our best commodity. That's the commodity we have to sell. That's the commodity we got to work with, our people. And we want to give them, with the NOW, this nation, we want to give them an opportunity to become wealthy. And anybody that stands in our way we're going to chop you down. Because the people of the country deserve better than they have today. With that, Fernando, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today and enlightening the people a little bit of where we go. Remember, next week, Thursday, is election day. Come out to vote, come out in masses, support the Golden Party, support the No Party. We are the people's choice. I mean, there's no ifs and buts about it. You can see the movement of people that have come around us now. People are not afraid to show their colors, and that's a very good thing. Fernando, I think after the votes are counted, a lot of people are going to be surprised. A lot of people are going to be disappointed. But you know what? That's part of the electoral race. There are 15 seats. There are 100 plus candidates. So a lot of them will be disappointed. But again, I think it's going to be a tough 6 days moving forward. A lot of accusations going to start flying left, right, and center. And I'm sure after this show, some of them will be blazing guns at me again. But guess what? I got brought back.
You could take it.
I could take it, but I could share it too. I could guarantee you that one.
Okay. Well, Bunks, thanks a million for being here today and for the information that you have given us. And don't forget, people, the Now Party will be in Soccer Garden this evening at 7 o'clock. Somebody asked me if it will be live stream.
I think so. I don't know all the logistics, Fernando. I know I'm going to be on stage to talk. I know that one for sure.
Okay then.
So that one they could prepare for.
Okay.
I have a lot for you.
All right. So thanks again for being here, Mr. Buncamper, and all the best. Okay.
All right. Take care, Fernando. Thanks, and peace out, people. See you all tonight.